Hey folks, welcome to Allie's YouTube channel. My name is Allie McWowie, and I usually talk about keto, but sometimes other things too. Today we're doing something that I have held off on because I'm a little afraid to go to Reddit and kind of have that whole community have its eyes on me if they see this video. I don't know. It just kind of scares me a little bit. But today we are going to the subreddit for keto, so I hope that you enjoy. I did get rid of the squeaky chair. Some people were commenting that it was annoying. So I have my handy dandy laptop sitting right here, and we're just gonna go to the subreddit for keto. Now, this is kind of coming full circle. When I first heard about keto, like the word ketogenic and diet together in a sentence, I actually heard it on YouTube. And then I just kind of Googled it and I found the subreddit for it, and that's really where I found all of the information. If you've never seen any of my videos, I lost 170 pounds. Now, I'm not saying that that makes me an expert, but I am saying that I weigh less now than the amount of weight that I lost. So I weigh 150, I lost 170, I used to weigh 320. So maybe that doesn't make me an expert, but I definitely do know a little bit about ketogenic diet weight loss. So I wanted to peruse the subreddit for keto and just kind of talk about what they're talking about. Maybe answer some questions. I don't know. We're going to figure it out. Is it common to get lectured about how bad keto is? Yes. Honestly, I didn't have this experience much because I knew that we do not talk about keto unless we are in a ketogenic community. I mean, I have read so many stories of people saying that they do keto and then having backlash for that in the real world. So I never really brought it up much, although I will say when I started my new job, that was kind of like my talking point. I know it sounds awful, but I said, you know, hey, I used to weigh a lot. Now I don't, and I did that through eating keto, and I think, you know, everybody was pretty supportive. But that said, I do work with a bunch of teachers, so if we don't support each other, who is? No, really, you should support the teachers in your community. I'm not sure and I don't care. I'm kind of annoyed because I don't go around lecturing people about their lifestyle choices or even trying to advertise I'm doing keto. That's the thing. Yeah, we might not even be trying to advertise it when we just say, hey, I don't eat whole lots of sugar because I do keto. But people take it that way, and you know, people just always want to comment. Whatever you're doing, people want to make their thoughts about it known. So yeah, the top comment here was just saying, yeah, don't talk about that, you know, just say no thanks and move on. And that really, I think, is the best strategy to deal with that in the real world, because like I said, people just want to, you know, tell you what they think, even though that might not be helpful. Okay, on to our next post, keto shamed. Has anyone else dealt with their friends, coworkers being annoyed that they are on keto? So this person was going to a bridal shower and asked the bride if she could bring some snacks, and the bride was like, no, this is a 3-course dinner. It would be tacky to do that. And the bride was annoyed. Yeah, I haven't really had much of that experience where I go and I feel like I'm putting upon people. I feel like I'm making their life more of a hassle or being tacky by bringing my own snacks. No, usually I know that, especially back in the day before I started these videos, because everybody that I know knows that I do this and that this is like a big part of my life. So back in the day, I would kind of pre-eat before going out, but honestly, I wasn't that social, so I didn't really have this issue too much. I can see how that would be an issue though. Like if I were a bride, hopefully maybe one day, we'll see. And I was gonna give like this nice, you know, dinner, 3-course dinner or something. I can understand how somebody bringing like their own snacks and like doing like the wrapping, or if they, you know, make it at home, they have like their container. Like, you know, as a bride who spends lots of money on a wedding, I can understand how you just want everything to be perfect, and somebody bringing in like their Tupperware or like, you know, bunches of wrappers and things could be annoying. I get that. So I would just say pre-eat and eat what you can from what the bride provides. I mean, I always try and err on on the side of not offending people. I'm very non-confrontational, so I just try and make my issues not other people's. So I understand that you feel like you might get hungry, but that's a good thing about keto is that, you know, if you pre-eat and you eat lots of fat, you probably wouldn't feel hungry for the whole night, rest of the day, whatever you're doing. So I would suggest pre-eating with that situation. But anyway, I say do what you want to do, and yeah, try not to inconvenience other people. Just assume that nobody's going to accommodate you, and so just work around that. Don't argue with her, just bring a plate of bacon and refuse to share it with anyone. Yeah, you can do that too, but again, as you know, somebody who wants to plan the perfect wedding, I've been planning it since I was 6. As somebody bringing their own food to my wedding, I would feel, I don't know, you have the vision for your wedding, and somebody having, like I said, their Tupperware in the middle of your wedding. Just eat the bacon beforehand is all I'm saying. Bacon's good, eat it, it's fatty, and it'll keep you feeling full even though you're not having dinner with everybody else. Question about OMAD Keto. Should we do this? We feel like it will fit our lifestyles. Any specifics we should know? OMAD, for those who don't know, is 1 meal a day. I'm actually doing that right now. I do intermittent fasting. And in the past, I did not like it. It didn't do anything for me. Right now, I feel like it's working pretty well because it keeps my mind off of food all day. So it's just going to depend, and that's what I always say. If you see my other videos, it depends on your lifestyle and your needs and your psychological issues and your budget and everything. So, you know, it's going to depend. I agree with the top comment here. Don't jump into OMAD if you've never done intermittent fasting. You might drive you crazy. You never know. You do not have to start out your ketogenic journey by jumping into everything at once. I mean, when I started, I wasn't even really logging stuff. The only thing I think I was logging on like an analog scale was carbs. I wasn't looking at calories or protein or really fat. And so, you know, I was still losing weight that way in the early stages. I definitely was not intermittent fasting in the beginning. I was eating 3 meals a day, so it's gonna change, and all these gurus out here are gonna change what they do too. Best nutrient tracker. They've been using chronometer, I don't know, I don't use that one. And that the macros that the app lists aren't what match with other things on the web, which figures are right, so he gives some numbers. So what I've always done for nutrient trackers, I use Lose It, not a sponsor, although hey Lose It, if you'd like to be a sponsor, I'm down. I would just create a custom entry and chronometer for the kind of beef you buy and use that. Yeah, definitely. I don't think I've ever used anybody else's or like an app's pre-entered food nutrition. I've always used the ones that I've entered or just Googled it and put that in. If you look up USDA food data, you can find some stuff through that. It's kind of like a big table. You kind of be really specific about what you're looking for. So I don't use it often. Usually I just, you know, something will pop up on Google, and if I'm in a pinch, you know, on just some random food that didn't come with a food label, generally they do, but sometimes you get food that doesn't. So, you know, you can use that as well. I have a video where I talked about how to log your food, and so even on like a free app like Lose It, what I do is when I plug in that food and create a food in my library, I just go ahead and I subtract the fiber from the overall carbs so that I can just have my fiber already done with, because I do net carbs. So that's just an idea, if that's ever been an issue for anybody. But now I think Lose It tracks fiber as well, so you can just subtract that at the end of the day. But, you know, it's up to you. Okay. The calculator says 30 carbs per day, but my 2 friends say 20 grams of carbs max. What's right? Sorry if this is an amateur question. That's okay. I love teaching. So I always heard from the very beginning 20 grams of max carbs per day, and that you can do net carbs. So that's what I've always done. 20 grams of net carbs per day maximum. And I think that it's just when you start out and you're real strict, I think that's just, it sort of helps you stay motivated, you know. You know that you're definitely in ketosis after a few days if you stick to that 20. Some people get kicked out of ketosis, and I hate that term, kicked out, whatever. No, you overate and you threw yourself out. Okay, you didn't get kicked out. Anyway, so, you know, some people can go higher without it affecting them. Some days I'll go up to 30, but I do feel like I feel a little bit more bloated the next day, so it just depends. But I've always heard 20 grams of net carbs max per day. Ooh, the subreddit for keto is getting fancy. I haven't been here in a long time. So the question is, you know, is too much protein going to kick me out of ketosis? They're saying that they're eating more protein than fat. I always eat more protein than fat. I always say, and I say it over and over, if you want to do keto for weight loss, okay, don't even worry about your fat macro. Stay very low carb, hit your protein goal, and if you're still hungry, then either eat more protein or more fat. And look at this, the auto moderator has this little note for everybody. Too much protein is not a practical concern. Boom, that's all you gotta know. And there are other comments here that explain it way better than I do, because like, I'm not a scientist, so I kind of, you know, regurgitate what I hear, and you know, I think about it critically and I'm like, yeah, that makes sense, and then I say it to other people. 2 months in and it does get easier. There's 36 pounds down in 2 months. Congrats! Oh, I'm so excited for you. I know, like, seeing that scale go down like every other day when you're on keto, starting out, trying to lose weight. Oh, it's so motivating. I'm so happy for you. And yes, it does get easier after your first week. Oh, I mean, it's just, you really get going, and it's, yeah, that was my experience at least. My only struggle is pizza. I definitely love pizza. The best option, he says, is getting like a low carb tortilla and baking it and using it as a crust. So I would just say totally skip the bread. Like, that used to be my favorite part of the pizza, but now it's just like, if I want pizza, I just want the toppings. So I get cheese and a little bit of tomato sauce and some pepperoni and olives and onion, and some ham and some sausage. You know, all the good stuff, some onion. And just mix it up in a bowl and heat it up and get that cheese really melty. I think that's a pretty good substitute. If you haven't tried that, you might try just totally not even worrying about the bread, if that's an option. How did you begin your keto journey? They love bread and sugar too much. Okay. They're tracking all of their macros and calories and no longer eating sweets or breads. Their question says, did you go cold turkey when you started keto, or did you ease into it? Which approach do you feel is best? Okay, so yes, when I started totally cold turkey, like I woke up one day and then my very next meal was a bunless burger, and I just never had bread after that. Or any really version of bread, like a keto bread or a keto substitute, or even like a pre-made low carb tortilla. Like, those are just things that I consider no-go foods. And I think that that helps you stay on track so much, because you can definitely overeat on keto. Oh, I've overeaten so much on like homemade cheesecake that I make for very special occasions. I make homemade baked goods about 2 or 3 times a year for like Thanksgiving, Christmas, and my birthday, and that's it. Because I know that I will overeat on them. And so when we go keto, we really just kind of get rid of all that food that we overeat on too much, like the bread and the pasta and the sweets. So I say go cold turkey and just try and get over those foods, because if you're already substituting in keto-friendly versions of those foods, you're not really getting over them. I mean, I have always allowed artificial sweeteners, and so I still struggle with wanting like whole bunches of peanut butter, or, you know, lots of dark chocolate, you know, or keto versions of my favorite foods like cheesecake and things. So I say go cold turkey, just get over it. I'm totally over bread. I'm totally over potatoes and pasta. I don't even care. You know, give me the steak. So since that person was asking, that's my advice. Go cold turkey. I do think that it'll help you just get over your addiction to food. Well, folks, that's about it for today. I'm tapping out. It is a lovely Sunday, and I'm gonna go get some stuff done. If you enjoyed this video, please don't forget to like and subscribe. That would help me out so much. And if you want to find me on social media, I will link all of that down below. Again, thank you guys so much for watching. My name's Allie. Have a good one. Bye!